Hey, I'm Dr. Toby. Welcome to the Rehab Mobile channel. In this video, I want to show you 3 things you can do right from your chair to help relieve that hip pain and arthritis that's been bothering you for so long. If you're somebody who's been having challenges with your hip and sitting for long periods of time becomes very uncomfortable, or maybe getting up from sitting is challenging, then what I'm going to show you today is going to be very beneficial for you. So stay tuned, and you want to subscribe to our channel because we make videos on how to help you stay healthy, pain-free, fit, and mobile. So if you want to continue to live your best life as you go through your ages and really live in the golden years and have them be great years of your life without being inundated or challenged or bothered by just difficult health issues or complications that you don't really get good answers for other than pain medications, injections, or surgery, this is the channel that's going to be helpful for you. So let's get right into today's video because I'm excited to help you with what you got going on. All right, so what I'm going to show you is a couple of exercises that are going to be beneficial for you. Now, arthritis, if you look at the videos on our channel, we have a lot of talks and videos about arthritis in the hip and what you need to start doing about it. Most people probably need a rehab program, and so this video may be very supplemental, and it's really for the purpose of education. It's not prescriptive. Depending on how severe your arthritis is, whether bone on bone, these things can definitely still help, but the best way is to talk to a doctor of physical therapy who specializes in hip issues. And so we do a hip pain diagnostic, and that's where we give you a full comprehensive diagnosis of not only what's going on with your hip, because many people have seen, well, my hip has arthritis from what the doctor said and it's bone on bone, all these things. But the question is not just what's going on, is what caused that and why is that happening? And what have you been doing in your life that has led to that over time? So we're going to do a comprehensive diagnostic exam for you to tell you what's going on and why. And then also we do some treatment during that session, as well as we give you a full rehab plan. So all you need to do to get access to that is hit the link in our description, and we'll give you some great support. So let's go into these basic things that can be done in the chair. So number one, you want to start off with a lumbar flexion activity. And why this is important is because even though we're targeting the lower spine or the lower back, our real focus is actually getting those hips to mobilize and to increase the joint range of motion. So what happens is a lot of times this hip capsule, right? Your hip is a ball and a socket joint, and what it does is when you have hip arthritis, a lot of times there's one particular point of pressure that continues to get rubbed, and that entire joint doesn't become the place where that pressure or force is spread out. Now imagine you have one particular point where you're being pinched all the time, right? That's going to be very, very, very painful very quickly, especially over time as that particular area becomes very sensitive. But imagine if you're getting pinched in a globalized way and you're getting pinched all over here, there's not going to be enough time for one area to develop a lot of pain or discomfort. Now, this is a very important concept for relief for hip pain on a daily basis without pain medications, injection, or surgery. One of the biggest things you can do to improve relief is allowing your hip joint to expand how and where the force is being applied. And doing a mobility exercise like I'm going to show you right now is going to be very helpful. I love to explain to people the principles and the concepts so that they understand and know why they're having relief, because sometimes people will have good days and bad days and they don't realize that, well, I had a good day today because I did some things a little bit differently, and I had a bad day today because I didn't do those things that I typically do. And so most people are just like, well, let me just, this stuff doesn't work, or exercise doesn't work, forget it. Let me just go and take pain medications and things of that nature. But a lot of times it's if they understand what's going on, then they're going to be able to do much better just by doing the things that their therapist or their doctor or physical therapy has taught them. So again, let's spread our legs wide. You're going to be here, and what you're going to do is you're going to reach down as far as you can go. And we want to try to do that a couple of times. Okay. Now, if you have a hip replacement, this is something you should not be doing unless you have moved out of the acute phase or the early phase of your program. So if you've already had a hip replacement and you're still having hip pain, then you definitely need to hit the link in our description to talk to us on how you can do some exercises. So what we're doing here is we are really mobilizing our hip in a way that's actually less aggressive. So the reason why is that initially the place of movement is my lumbar spine or my low back. And so you can just maybe start here. You don't need to go as far as I can go. And this is going to be really good for mobility to the hip. Maybe you can't bring your legs as wide, but just start here. right? Everything that can be progressed can be regressed to be more comfortable, okay? Now, depending on where the particular point of emphasis of your arthritis is, meaning depending on where in this capsule you have the most degeneration, this exercise may not be the best one for you, and so you want to monitor how you feel. We always teach our patients about self-monitoring, and that's really important. Increased pain is a negative indication. It may start off painful initially, but if it decreases over the repetitions of doing the exercise, that's positive. So this is one thing that you can do that will be beneficial for you, and you can give it a try and see. Now, the other thing that can be very helpful is having, again, let's assume that this is the leg that has severe pain, that this is the leg I want to target for right now. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep my leg spread. I'm gonna put my hand here. I'm gonna turn my body out. This is an even less aggressive way to mobilize that hip, using my spine and using the connection between my spine, my pelvis, and my hip. Your pelvis is really the place where both your spine and your hip attach, and this is gonna be beneficial and helpful. So doing this exercise, can do a little bit of a hold, things like that. So that's another really good one. Now I'm gonna show you a bonus exercise that I didn't plan on showing you. This is really helpful as well. So what you can do is put your palms here against your knees, and what you're gonna do is you're going to push your knees out and push your knees in at the same time. So with my hands, I'm pushing my knees out. With my knees, I'm pushing my hands in, and I'm gonna squeeze 1, 2, 3. And again, 1, 2, 3. And again, 1, 2, 3. Now this can be really helpful because what you're doing is if you apply the right force, you're gonna create a little bit of space in that hip joint, and that can be very beneficial. The other thing you can do alternatively is putting the pillow here and squeezing. That can be beneficial to not only strengthen those muscles and to improve the mobility, but to build some stability at those muscles as well. Now, last thing I'm gonna show you is gonna be beneficial for you as well, depending on where your hip arthritis is really being localized at. So what we're gonna do is a chair bridge, or what people will call a hip thrust. I have my hands here on the chair, and what I wanna do is just lift my hips up. I wanna keep those hips nice and wide, lift them up, and squeeze that bottom. Squeeze, squeeze, and keep those hips nice and wide, because some positions are going to cause that hip joint to be more close. Other positions cause that hip to be optimally open, and you want to have that hip joint open. So lift up. Now this may be too difficult for some people depending on their arm strength or depending on their leg strength, things of that nature, but we've shown you a couple of different things, and you can check out some of the other videos on our channel to see some things that are really helpful for the hip arthritis. But if you found this video helpful, like it and leave a comment. Let us know, what did you find most helpful or most informative about this video? You can also share this with somebody that you know it would benefit. And thank you so much for hitting the subscribe button. Again, we're doing a hip pain diagnostic for individuals who have hip pain. And all you need to do is hit the link in our description, and we would love to help you, because you're gonna get a clear diagnosis, I'll get it out. You're gonna get a clear diagnosis of what's going on, some treatment to help you, and then a full rehab plan that's gonna help you to get to where you wanna be in terms of being 100% without having to rely on pain medications, injections, and surgeries. And how do I know that? I know it because we've done it for literally hundreds of patients. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.